First of all, you need to come out with channel so how say AGH Politics Avenue. Podcast stories are trending because making headlines. The Jemre na YDB Exum war. Na any dim ya braxi mo onu ya mesrek say yankuyin sim. Ye queen simwa. Deputy Attorney General Eko GH1 television so na host no ebusa say Ahmed Suale ni wu no abrantia se bi oson se bi anya ado ni isusu se ono ena edi na wu no Attorney General ejai no na edi na mana ba sa na o kire se je o mu ja no o mbesan ache no pending some investigations bi na kai ku mu huye jin kwa num yem monwura mu ne nhwe de ko ene de ba na o kire se court ka se when discharge wa na any acquitted, you can be called anytime upon any further investigations. You mong remember when you call it about AGH Politics Avenue, but that's in your mature so I am young insane CCA.
To complete filing our evidence. After that, trial will begin. In the previous regime, what would have happened was that when he was arrested at that time, he would have been kept on remand. And they will now be doing the investigation while it's on remand, and that can take years. So that is the difference. So when you see persons, suspects or accused persons walking around, it doesn't mean that they have come to bribe anybody or they bribe a judge or bribe the AG or have cut a deal with the AG. It is because we are mixing respect for human rights together with fast and efficient judicial system.
But not all your critics agree that you're respecting his human rights. In fact, some argue that you're using very stringent and very unrealistic bail conditions to keep people. So Wontumi, for example, we know that as of the time the bail conditions were set for him 2 weeks ago, it was almost 4 p.m. He had to spend another night and then other, and then and there was another case which required some other bail conditions. And so the argument largely from his lawyers and other critics is that we're using the bail system to punish people.
No,
unnecessarily.
That cannot be the case, because I have personally had a conversation with his lawyer and even he himself, and he did not. Both of them, none of them raised this issue that is being raised.
Mr. Afiakubi, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, we have engaged him. We have him on tape.
Well, I have spoken to him yesterday. I spoke to him in the presence of his client.
Right.
Now, what's the issue here? Bail condition is determined by the courts, right? So we went to court and the court determined the bail condition. Now, for a court to determine the bail condition, the court would have to take into account what amount are we even trying to recover, or what the gravity of the offense is one. Whether the person is a flight risk is another. And so on, whether the person is likely to interfere with evidence, whether the person is likely to appear before the court the next time. So when the court is making this decision, it's going to consider if the amount involved is $100 million. If I give bail of 10,000 cedis, the person who pay the money will leave the money with someone and run away. And what's the essence of the bail? Or if the person is a flight risk and I don't seize the person's passport and ask the person to report very frequently, the person can just disappear. So sometimes maybe education is very important for us to understand. I understand the economic situation, that there's very, people, we don't have the money, the country is hard and all, but we're also trying to secure the presence of the accused person for the trial. And that is why, no matter how you look at this bail condition, it will make a lot of sense if the amount of value or the value involved is $10 million and you are taking bail for 100,000 cedis because the economy is hard. You yourself, the same people will say, why are you leaving this person and he's going around 10 million? They will accuse the judge of even collecting bribe and letting him go.
On this response, here's what I see, that you're trying to separate your job as a lawyer from what the judge and the courts determine. But listening to some of your own colleagues in some of the reactions from court, especially from the side of Wontumi and his lawyers, the perception that has been created over time is that the lawyers of the government of the day
That's the Attorney General's office.
That's the Attorney General's office, has cases determined in their favor. And that's the perception being created out there. And it happened in the previous regime and it's happening now. It brings me to the to the point of public perception.
This is even inaccurate, because you just told me that we have not even had any case determined yet.
No, I'm not talking about full determination of cases. For example, you go to court and you plead with the judge to remand somebody, for example, or make an argument that the person could be flight risk. Right.
One of our policies is we've never opposed bail in any of these cases. If you follow the record, anytime any accused person applies for bail, we don't oppose bail. It is not part of our philosophy to be opposing bail.
I understand. No, I'm coming to the point of public perception here, and this has nothing to do with...
I'm trying to correct, use your media to correct this public perception. And there's a lot of propaganda in the system. For example, your colleague, were just having a conversation on the fact that they said we appear to like the media. I can tell you, I have never granted interview before, after any of the cases I do. My colleague on the other side grants interview before going to court. When the court is on break, he goes down to grant interview. After the court proceedings, he grants interview again. And then for all the 8 months that we've been in power, my boss has granted 4 interviews. Out of the 4, 2 were not on any specific cases. It was only 2 that were on specific cases. Just 4. Personally, this is the 3rd time I'm having this kind of interview and consider the number of press conferences the opposition party have held. The members of the opposition party have held on oral alone.
But that's always the case, though, Justice Shamsad. That's always the case. And the government of the day...
Why you say always the case? What do you mean?
What I mean is that usually the government of the day hardly runs to the media for anything. It's those in opposition who think that they need the voice.
You should point it out to those who say that we like media. Because with these facts, you cannot still insist that we like media than any other person. Because I just left court. In the morning when I was going, I was begging your media men to just let me pass without talking. And I do that every day. My colleague on the other side is always speaking to the media, and most of the things he said are actually inaccurate. So, in other words, you are trying to gag us and give them a free pass to poison the population.
But you have a choice to speak or not. No one is gagging you.
No, but
that's why you have this platform and opportunity.
If you encourage, I would expect that when they are saying we like the media, you will point to the facts that, look, this is the statistics. These people have granted this number.
But that's their perception. And when they say that you like the media, probably they're talking about your boss coming into the media space, as we have witnessed, to give updates.
I've just given you the number of times my boss has been in the media. I've given you the number of, go and check the number of times he's open. Our opposition people have been in the media with press conferences and all that.
We can go on and on about this. It has to do with perceptions, and it has to do with...
I owe it a duty, just that I think you also do, your media house, you owe the duty to the people to let them see the fact that... So otherwise we allow people to use this propaganda. We call it propaganda. So you say every day, the AG likes me, that the AG likes me, that, and then nobody's checking the facts. And everybody thinks the AG truly likes me, that. But the fact is that as compared to the opposition, we are nowhere. Even in the previous administration, when the Attorney General was prosecuting, every day when he finishes court, he will grant interview. Your colleague was accusing me that these days I don't talk to the media. That is the reality.
Right. Back to the Wintering case, if you may. So there's a whole conversation about a certain missing docket and it being found and all. Just briefly, if you can, just help us understand how that...
No, what came up was this.
Was established.
When I think it was one of the journalists, what's his name? The guy who, your colleague who does the investigation on
Erastus Asare.
When Erastus first raised this forest reserve mining, there was an initial investigation into the matter. But the investigation didn't see didn't see the light of day. So we all forgot. I don't know whether we forgot or we just got tired of waiting for results, and nothing happened again. So when we came to power, then a different complaint was lodged. It was in the middle of investigating that complaint that it came up that apparently there was a whole investigation into the affairs of Akunta mining in that forest, which was not moved forward, or which got not missing in the sense that it couldn't be found, but it is someone's duty to pursue justice. The person decided not to pursue this justice and left it there. Now,
was there a reason?
when we are still investigating that, and when we would definitely, the person would definitely have to answer why. Maybe the person has good reason to keep it there. We don't know, but the truth of the matter is that there was already an investigation conducted into the matter, and the result was almost to confirm that there was a wrongdoing, there was a criminality which required prosecution.
Right. Talking about things that happened in the past and revisiting and all that, brings to mind my own colleague who was a journalist, an investigative one, Ahmed Suale, who tragically lost his life. This year there was an arrest made, and it sent a lot of positive signal even within the media fraternity, because we've been really following this for a long time, only to hear that the case has been discontinued upon the advice of the Attorney General. Just help us understand, did the AG advise for this person's prosecution in the first place, and in hindsight, does the AG think that
no,
the
Attorney General or the Attorney General of this office, we did not advise that the case should be discontinued.
What was the advice then?
No, we asked for further investigation. You know, the murder was committed from eyewitnesses by a couple of people.
Sorry, I mean discharged. I beg your pardon. The suspect had to be discharged, and further investigation on the matter was proposed by the AG's office.
Yes,
I'm talking about the suspect in particular now. Did you advise that this person be sent to court, and in hindsight, do you think that you made a mistake on that advice?
This office did not advise that the person be discharged.
What was the advice?
That was not advice. The advice was for further investigation. And
so what has happened to the suspect now?
So you could put the suspect on bail.
So specifically, I'm asking you, what has happened to that suspect? Because the reportage...
the suspect will be rearrested, and because the advice from this office was not to discharge the suspect or to...
But did you see that? Did you see the news that the suspect had been discharged?
Yes, we saw the news, but we had our own investigations into the matter.
Right.
We looked at the advice we gave, and there was nowhere in the advice that we asked that the person should be discharged. The advice was a further investigation. You know, let me explain this to you. At this stage, the person is entirely in the hands of the police service.
Right.
And so what happens when they make arrests? They forward to us docket, and I was explaining that earlier. We look at the dockets, and then we advise that, okay, this person may be of interest, or maybe an accused person, but we need this further evidence to be able to confirm that position. Oh, this person is not really someone we should even arrest in the first place, so let him go. These are all options. In this particular case, the advice was never that the person should be discharged. It was for further investigation. And we assume that, as the practice, the police also have their own procedures, because they use our power to prosecute. And we expect them to do certain things. And that is what I think there was a miscommunication along the way. When we are investigating how it came that the person was discharged, we are conducting that investigation.
Okay, so just as a statement of fact here, the person was discharged, and the media did report accurately that the person was discharged. What you are contesting here is that that was not the advice of the Attorney General.
No, this office did not advise.
All right. So once the AG got the notice that this is against our advice, what did you trigger? Beyond the investigation, what else could have been triggered?
What we do is we conduct, because when the news came, we also heard the news. Okay? So that was was Friday, I think so. So on Monday, the first thing we did was to do our internal checks as to what happened. We are finished with our internal checks. We are looking at the police. We are moving to the police side, what happened with the power. So definitely we'll come to a conclusion. But what we know is that this is not a case where the person could be discharged. It's a case where, at best, the person should be on bail, on police inquiry bail.
And so you're saying on record that he will be rearrested?
Definitely.
Right. Let's talk about Ken Ofori-Atta and the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And it's an interesting smile you have on your face. But what is happening? I recently saw a photo, someone suggested that probably an invasion of the privacy of Ken Ofori-Atta, but others argue that he's a wanted man, he's needed back in Ghana. What can you tell us about attempts to get Ken Ofori-Atta back into the country?
Yes, so Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta is a subject of a number of criminal investigations, right? I think the one that is popular is the one that the OSP is conducting. And also, that is the one that we are made to believe is in an advanced stage where extradition will be required. And indeed, the OSP has already put the person on red alerts, Interpol red alerts. What it means is that it's a notice to the whole world that this person is a wanted man. But the Interpol alert is not an extradition, procedure. So, if we really want the person to come, we need to make an extradition request to where we believe he is, which is the U.S. Now, this is what, and listen to me carefully on this. We are the only authority, that's the Attorney General Office, we are the only authority that can make extradition. But we need a docket from, an investigative docket from the OSP to be able to make these extradition requests. As of today, we still do not have a docket from the OSP. We have made several requests to the OSP, written letters, written demands to the OSP, asking that now that you've announced to the world that you are ready to have this person extradited, and there have been communication to that effect that even we've seen communication to the effect that the docket is ready and it's only the Attorney General that can make the. So we have been asking for the docket for a couple of, I think about 2 months now. We still do not have the dockets from the OSP. And so without the dockets, you cannot go to the American authorities and say, this is the person we want him. No, you need to show, because when they are asking for people to be extradited to the United States, they bring the full docket of, as if they are going to court. And then we take that docket to court for the court to see whether there's really merit for, bringing the person down. We have to do the same thing. We also have to take a full docket of all the evidence and what we believe the law, and then we take it to the United States authorities, and they will process the extradition and bring it. And we have been having communication with the American authorities. Okay. American authorities, and they all of us are just waiting for the docket from the OSP, and then we kickstart the extradition process. Does
it appear to you that there's some feet dragging from the side of the OSP?
I wouldn't call it feet dragging because I don't know what they have found. Whatever you know from the OSP is what I know.
What is the correspondence? You've written, you want the docket. What exactly is the response you get back?
So I won't be able to give you the details of the response, but the broad thing I can say here at this time is that the OSP has informed us that they have not yet completed their docket investigations to be able to hand it over to us.
You mentioned earlier that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta is under a series of investigations, but the OSP appears to be the most...
Even within the OSP system,
there are a number of... Exactly.
Yeah.
But is your office in particular investigating him for
We don't conduct investigations here. I was mentioning I was explaining to you earlier. We use other people's finished products as our raw material. Right. And the finished product is dockets. So
maybe I should put it this way. Are you aware of any other investigations by any other body besides the OSP on what the...
Oh yes, I'm aware of a BNI investigation, I'm aware of a Yoko investigation, I'm aware of, yeah.
Right, and what's the progress on those investigations, if you are aware?
They are far advanced, and at this point I cannot disclose the details, but they are far advanced. I mean, if not the OSP, in the case of the OSP, he has already disclosed his details, so I'm able to speak to that, but for BNI and the others, they have not publicly, and I think we do not have to disclose that at this point.
Since we are speaking about extraditing, possible extradition, we witnessed something recently in this country, a certain MOU that our Foreign Affairs Minister says was signed between us and the US government, agreeing to accept some deportees into our country, created a lot of buzz. There were concerns about why that did not go through parliamentary approval. We understand that the AG was aware, advised. Can you clarify exactly what happened in this particular matter?
I would not be able to disclose the details of the advice that we have given, but whatever this government did in respect of these, the deportees, I don't know whether they are deportees, but whether to call them deportees, this particular issue was done in accordance with law, and we do not need to belabor the point. I'm aware of suits that have been filed by Democracy Hub and other people to challenge that, and we look forward to having that that issue resolved in court. But I can tell you that whatever we did in respect of this issue was done in accordance with law.
But shouldn't this have gone to Parliament?
Shouldn't what exactly?
The MOU that was signed, shouldn't this receive parliamentary oversight at least?
Who said it's an MOU?
Well, that's what we're told.
By
the Foreign Affairs Minister.
Well, I am not aware of whether to call it MOU or not, but just take it from me that whatever we did was in accordance with law. And we are happy that the matter has been sent to court for a determination to be made.
But they are not in the country as we speak. They were sent to Togo. Why didn't we wait for the determination of that legal matter?
No, before those issues, there's no injunction on us.
Right.
We have not been injuncted from deporting anyone. So we do not see why we should. And the fact is that the people were not meant to be in Ghana. It was a transit point for them to go to other places. Do you understand? So,
and I appreciate that, but also people.
We and some hold with because what channel so Mamma so Jim Ewa, the Senate so bad in the Adumania. It was some room now, Yasumo Konsum Kosokra. Aha, a Politics Avenue.